You've seen this image 100 times, right? This incredible shot of a single person floating in the quiet of space with the whole world right there beneath them. It looks so peaceful, so effortless.
And then you hear that voice coming over the radio, so calm, so steady. It's the picture of serenity. Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to peel back all the layers of this one single moment. We're going to deconstruct it and show you the unbelievable symphony of physics, engineering, and just sheer human grit that has to happen to survive out there.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the shot itself. I mean, how do you even capture an image like this? The tech behind it has come a long way. For the longest time, astronauts were lugging around these enormous IMAX film cameras. And when I say enormous, I mean it. Each reel of film weighed 10 pounds and only gave you 3 minutes of record time. 3 minutes! And get this, the cameras were so loud inside the space station, astronauts said they sounded like a lawnmower. So, switching to modern digital cameras, well, it was a total game changer. It let them get these longer, more natural shots, kind of like a fly-on-the-wall documentary of what life in orbit is really like.
And here's where digital really truly opened up a whole new universe for us. That incredible light sensitivity meant that, for the first time, we could actually see the night world from space. They could capture these breathtaking shots of cities glowing on the horizon, huge lightning storms flashing across the clouds, and of course, that magical, shimmering dance of the aurora. Stuff that was basically invisible to the old film cameras.
So you've got the right camera, but the way the image actually looks, that's all down to physics. And let me tell you, the rules of light and optics are completely different up there. Think about it. Here on Earth, our atmosphere scatters sunlight all over the place, which softens all our shadows. But in the vacuum of space, you've only got one single, incredibly powerful light source, the sun. That's what gives you that super dramatic, cinematic look. You've got this brilliant, harsh light on one side, and then absolute, pitch-black shadow on the other. There's just nothing for the light to bounce off of.
So what about that insane curve of the Earth? I mean, it looks like a perfect ball. Well, part of that is real, yeah, but it's also getting a little help from the camera's wide-angle lens. It creates this effect called barrel distortion, where straight lines actually start to bend outwards the further they get from the center of the picture.
And this is so cool. Check out how that distortion messes with our perception. If the horizon is placed up high in the shot, above the center, that curve gets totally exaggerated. But if you move it down below the center, it can actually look flat, or even curved the wrong way, like it's concave. The only time you're seeing the Earth's true curvature is when that horizon line passes directly through the dead center of the lens. Crazy, right?
Okay, we've nailed the visuals, but what about the sound? How does that astronaut's calm voice travel 250 miles down to mission control so perfectly?
You know those iconic beeps you always hear in the recordings? Beep, Houston, we have a problem. Beep. Well, they're not just there for Hollywood effect. They're called Quindar tones. And you can basically think of them as a remote control push-to-talk button for mission control. The first beep opens the audio channel so they can talk, and the second one closes it. Why? So the astronauts don't have to listen to all the constant background chatter from a very busy room in Houston.
And it all comes down to absolute precision. Communication in space isn't just a casual chat. It's built on the super rigid protocol. Every single transmission gets rated on 2 scales: signal strength and readability. Is it loud and clear, or is it weak with background noise? In an environment where a single misunderstood word could be the difference between life and death, this system is absolutely crucial.
All right, time for the main event, survival. How in the world is that person living out there in the total vacuum of space? The answer is pretty amazing. They're wearing their own personal spaceship.
What that astronaut is wearing is called an extravehicular mobility unit, or EMU. And you have to stop thinking about it as just a suit or a piece of clothing. It's not. It's a completely self-contained, human-shaped spacecraft engineered to protect one single person from the vacuum, the insane temperature swings, and the radiation of open space.
Now let's take a closer, more professorial look, shall we? This diagram here shows the primary components of the EMU. You have the liquid cooling and ventilation garment, which is worn against the skin. That connects to the hard upper torso, which is the solid core of the suit. And then, of course, you have the helmet, the gloves, but the real magic is in the backpack. That's the primary life support subsystem. Every single component you see here is a critical, life-or-death system in its own right.
So that backpack, it really is the heart of the entire operation. It provides literally everything the human body needs to function out there. Let's dive in and look at the most critical systems.
Okay, I know. At first glance, this engineering schematic looks completely overwhelming. It's just a maze of tubes and valves. But believe it or not, all of this incredible, complex engineering can be broken down into 4 essential circuits, all working together in perfect harmony. So here's how it works. You've got 4 main jobs to do. First, 2 circuits for oxygen. One constantly circulates air for the astronaut to breathe and keeps the suit pressurized, while the other feeds in fresh O2. Then you have 2 circuits for water. The liquid transport circuit pumps cold water through tiny tubes in the astronaut's undergarment to pull body heat away. That now warm water flows into the backpack, where the feed water circuit uses it for this amazing process called sublimation. It basically turns ice directly into water vapor, venting all that dangerous heat harmlessly out into space. And just how precise are we talking? This system is so finely tuned that it constantly scrubs the carbon dioxide the astronaut exhales, keeping the CO2 levels inside the suit below a partial pressure of just 7.6 millimeters of mercury. It's a tiny, perfect, life-sustaining atmosphere all inside a backpack.
So when you go back and look at that first image, you see something totally different, don't you? It's not just a person floating peacefully. It's a moment captured with advanced cameras, lit by the raw physics of space, communicated across hundreds of miles by a flawless radio link, all made possible by a personal spaceship creating a tiny, perfect bubble of Earth in the middle of nowhere.
And now, when we hear those words again, all fine, all clear, they have a whole new weight to them. That's the sound of thousands of components and hundreds of systems all working perfectly. It's a testament to the staggering science that makes such an amazing, fragile moment even possible.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we keep getting these spectacular images from orbit, from the moon, and maybe one day from Mars, what other layers of just mind-blowing science are hiding there right in plain sight, waiting for us to deconstruct them?